white supremacists, they always say like "get out of my country" or something like that. It's like it wasn't even your country to begin with. People who are focused like just on like leadership skills separates those people from the people who are actually good at like leadership and then good at testing. I don't know.
Yeah, like you're saying like basically it creates a thing that like people are trying to achieve, even though it's not necessarily like useful to the economy and like to the world. It's just about testing. But then people would be like, well, I mean, if people who do better on tests generally have higher wages, they get paid more. So doesn't that mean that it's a good indicator? But
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
circular though, because like they get into better colleges because they care about those tests.
yeah, exactly. I feel like if a person is just like how like you do like volunteering, you have to do community service is basically the same thing, but then you have to also do like leadership and stuff like that, and like people like doing your own thing.
Yeah.
It separates those people from people who might get like higher wages or like go to better college stuff like that.
Just because they train. Yeah, I see.
You have to have both sides of it.
Yeah, like the other thing is there's tons of people and like that's what you were saying. There's tons of people in between, and then there's some people who just don't develop those skills at all and like don't really care to go do community service. I guess they're not impacted as much, but maybe they are because like they can't like they might be limited. They can't do community service because they have to work or something, and then they're doing worse on the testing too.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of messed up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because I mean, you know what? Standardized. I feel like there's two sides, right? Colleges they look at SAT. They might not be looking into future, but right now they're looking at SAT, and then they look into like community service.
Yeah, and like grades and stuff too.
Yeah, and then yeah, I know. And then the SAT sort of represents the grades, the GPA, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have the other side that's just community service, and you have to have.
Oh, okay.
You have to have both of them. You can't just have one. Like for the people who just study for the SAT, you don't even have any community service. You're not going to go to good college. You have to have both.
Yeah, I wonder. So I see what you're saying. I was confused before, but you're saying like the SAT is the big indicator of the academics, and then like there's okay. I wonder then like what based on what they favor, whether it's their resume / like all the things that they've actually done, like actions, versus like test performance, if they favor resume more than test performance, like how they end up having, like how their students end up doing in the world, like whether they get more payments, like donations from their students. Because like it must be that the SAT is working better because that's why they're using it. Like really they're focused on getting the best students. So like, I think they would only be doing it if it is working, but
yeah,
still circular. I mean,
but then again, the College Board, I feel like every student, not every student, but most of the students in the U.S. think that College Board is not that good, and they're trying to like all that kind of like all that. It's so.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like
for the AP thing, right in the beginning, there was like a poll to like take the test. There was like there was something like it polled the students, and then there was an option for like to take the test, and then there was one for to not, and then like 91% of the kids said they wanted to take the test, and then the other 10 were like no.
Yeah.
Which one did you pick? Did you get it? Did you get the poll?
I don't remember. I probably said no.
I don't even understand why anybody's okay. Like
we already studied now though. Like who cares? Like it was just kind of like.
I know. I feel like this year was such a sham. It was a scam and a sham. I didn't think like it was like, good. And I feel like College Board is just doing some random crap to.
I mean, like they had to do testing too. They don't want to lose their reputation. I feel like College Board right now is like on a slope downhill because people are already saying that they want to go test optional, and this just like basically it's going to be an opportunity to show whether the way that they've been doing their testing has been effective, or whether like, or if this does go well and like the kinds of testing they did do work just as well.
Yeah.
It's going to look stupid that they were having people spend 3 hours instead of 45 minutes. Like,
No, plus the total cost. Remember, it was like what? I think it was $91
yeah,
for AP test or something.
something like that.
It's not worth it. Like 90, like for the AP comp sci test, there were two questions and then they had like 4 parts each or something, and then but that shouldn't even be worth the 91 or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like you're just paying for like college board stamp anyway, like, oh yeah, this guy took AP comp sci. We like him. He's a good one. He knows comp sci. AP said so.
But it's just crazy this year. It was so bad. So many things got ruined.
Yeah. I wonder if even like, so this is kind of like in our first discussion, we were talking about how like technology is going to change the economy. I've been doing like a lot of thinking on that, some research. And I was thinking like, it probably makes the most sense that we do simulation learning, like where it's not about necessarily the information that you know, but how you can apply it.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that'll be standardized. Like
I think that should be. That's a good idea.
But there's so many skills to test. Like I think that brings up an interesting point is that
I know.
That the SAT is not even close to going at any of those.
Because if you're good at like application, that's literally all you need in the world. You just
pretty much. Yeah.
But partly you do have to know the knowledge to apply it. But the main thing is you have to know how to apply it. Because if you don't apply it, and if you just know it, there's
and like either way, knowing it is becoming less important. Even if it still is important right now, like it's just we're able to get information more quickly. Like whether it was paper or the internet or like Elon Musk's Neuralink. Like basically we're just getting information to our brains so much faster that memorization, even if it is still a tiny bit important, like it's just losing importance over time,
Yeah.
But like I guess that's like basically the SAT is kind of based off the same principles. It's not supposed to be like memorization of facts. But it's almost like an IQ test, not an IQ test, but like just kind of inherent, like.
No, I feel like no.
It's still skills, I guess. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I feel like people think that it's an IQ test, but in reality, I think it's just knowledge.
Yeah. Well, like, it's almost like conditioning, like how well you just learn what the questions mean and like just know the answer.
No, because in the SAT, they're like each question sort of like repeated in its own way. Like there's always a question, and then there's always a second question like following.
It's like pattern recognition, basically. It's just finding out. It's like finding out the patterns in the test, and then
exactly. Exactly.
What an IQ test is, but like you could also. It's not. I mean, IQ tests are stupid too. Like that's kind of a skill, also. I think you could practice for them and get better. So I'm not saying it's like pure intelligence as we think about it, but just that it's
maybe an IQ test is an SAT test, but you don't take the IQ test as many times. But then, society we bring the IQ test up higher than the SAT. Maybe.
Wait a second. So like, I think the same thing. Like the SAT is kind of just like the same type of test, but you just prepare for it for like months, like, which is
and then the IQ test is it's just like a one-time thing that you take, and you only do it once, and you don't prepare for it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's basically, we kind of agree that it's basically the same skill. It's just finding out, like, the patterns and, like.
I guess. All right.
Yeah.
Good. Cool.
But, like, so, which one is, like, so then it's kind of stupid that we're training so much to get this one little skill. Like,
Yeah.
um, but maybe it's not. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
it's not important. Like, that's why it's the basis of the testing.
I mean, no, I think all of it's just conformity, actually. School just to make you do it, and then to get into that good school. It's
Yeah.
almost like a hostage situation, right? The ransom. No, no, no. You know what? The colleges hold your success hostage, right? And then the ransom is the SAT test, and you have to take, and you have to,
Oh, yeah. I see.
and for months, and then you finally, take the test.
Yeah, for sure. But maybe that's what they want us to do is be taking months on one thing, just like basically showing that we can just focus on a task that doesn't really mean anything.
Maybe.
Like that's what we do. Right.
That's actually so stupid.
But yeah, I mean, like, so if we do get simulation learning, will there be a single standardized test? Like, I feel like we'll find out a lot. Like right now, it's impossible for us to make a conclusion because we're living in this economy which favors it. Like all the statistics are messed up, you know.
Mm.
But like once the economy changes, maybe we'll be able to see.
Mm.
But like,
I feel like kids these days. I think they're definitely getting smarter and smarter. And then the SAT test, it's the same test. I've told you this. It's the same test every single time. Not the same test, but
no,
same types of questions each and every time. And then if kids just keep on getting smarter and smarter, the SAT test will just be sort of like 1+1 to kids like 20 years in the future, right?
yeah,
And the standardized test
mm,
turn into the IQ test, and the IQ, and then it'd be basically called the standardized SAT IQ test. I
like
think.
foundation, yeah. But I think kids are getting dumber. So just because like we don't need to be smart anymore. Like I think
Huh?
the maximum pressure that we faced like as an individual with like a set of genetic code was when we
Mhm.
were hunter gatherers. Like I think it's just gotten easier and easier to survive without having the best skills, you know. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe Darwin would disagree with me and say like that the collective society is.
No, I think he does disagree with you.
No, I think he does too. Like I know that we did evolve to be like this, so it
Mm-hmm.
must be right. But like I think just in terms of thinking as an individual, because like
Mm-hmm.
a species can be optimized without the individuals being optimized. You know, like bees aren't very smart, but they work very very well together and are
Mm-hmm.
successful like because of it. So like I think we're just
Wow, that's just like their genetics make them do
also like well yeah that's what I'm saying is I mean I guess our genetics haven't necessarily gone to the scale of the society that we live in now, but I'm saying that the pressures have changed. So our genetics are slowly getting worse. And just like the incentive, even if you don't consider the genetics, like I feel like if there is less chance that you're going to die if you don't do something, you're obviously less likely to do it. So like,
that. Did you just create the anti-Darwinism?
no, it's universal Darwinism. It applies to everything. Like,
No, 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 wait. But you said, wait, what'd you say again about
I'm just saying like,
you said kids are getting dumber because technology keeps improving and then life becomes easier. So then you don't need like
kind of, yeah. And like, we're also working
those.
together more. So it becomes easier to just do a specific role, like just go fill the honeycombs. I don't know what bees actually do with their time, but
No,
like,
I think they do that.
yeah, like a human that spends all of their time doing the same job in an office every day seems just like less purely intelligent, the way we think of like intelligence as like a basis of reason and everything, than a hunter gatherer who's dealing with so many situations every day and adapting to them, you know. But I don't think it's anti-Darwinist because like Darwinism says that whatever maximizes a set of genetic code, depending on how similar you want to make it, whatever, um, will end up happening. And like the population of humans has expanded, so it doesn't mean that getting dumber. Like I mean, it's just that species can evolve and individuals can evolve. Like that's pretty Darwinist. But also
Wait, did
that,
Darwin say species can evolve? Wait,
well, I mean, it's tough because like a species isn't really a thing. Like it's just this people with a bunch of similar genetic code. Like I get
it's
that.
just a bunch of people.
Yeah, but like just based on the similarity to a specific. But I'm just saying it doesn't apply just to genetic code. I mean, you can pass down a personality or like a trait. Like if your parent teaches you something, and your
Oh
parents
yeah.
happen to be successful, first of all,
Uh,
you're more likely to follow your parents if you want to be the same as them, right? If they were
uh,
successful. But also like the fact in a more purely back to Darwin's ideas, if your parents did survive to reproduce you and then translated those traits, it's kind of the same thing as genetics. Like just because the genetics are hardwired and this stuff is a lot more like
but how does this relate to kids getting dumber?
basically like, oh yeah, well, so they only have to adapt to the environment that they're in. So if the environment that they're in requires less intelligence,
And they're gonna get less intelligent.
yeah, I mean, just yeah, naturally. But I
So
think it applies to everything. Like evolution is just like a thing that happens.
maybe. Oh no. I was gonna say that maybe maybe evolution's not actually a thing. It's just that the environment asks for different like
Yeah,
different sort of things, and then the human organism, not the
yeah.
human, but the organism adapts to that.
I think it's just universal. Like whatever works continues to work. It's not
Yeah,
like Darwin like discovered something. He just realized the way it works. And it should be obvious. And I think it should also apply to everything. Like the businesses evolve just like species. Not businesses, I guess.
no, yes, like
Like yeah, but like a specific business, like a specific organism or individual of a species. Um, and like ideas that they apply are almost just like genetic code in the way they're evolving. So like we can apply that to literally everything.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
But like it kind of sucks too, because like if that's how you feel, like evolution is the universal thing that's guiding everything. Business.
Oh, but is evolution a steadily like progressing thing, or can it also go back? Because I feel like people think that evolution just keeps going,
Hmm.
as in like they keep getting smarter, or is evolution actually just you get smart and then you become dumber again and then smart and then dumb?
Yeah, I mean like I
No,
guess it,
like
if it's in,
like you know
sorry, what's up?
like businesses and stuff, like they are organisms, and then like they sort of adapt to the economy and then adapt to like the people, and so I guess businesses like they do evolve and stuff.
Yeah, like so what you're saying, and like I think if you put it in terms of being purely intelligent, like doing well on an IQ test, evolution
Mhm.
can go backwards. But that's because that's not what evolution actually is. Evolution is things that work continuing to exist. Things that are good at continuing to exist. It's basically consistent no matter what, because obviously things that continue to exist. Like it's pretty easy to to support if you believe that.
Yeah.
Um, but like it can't go backwards because it's always, in my opinion, like it's always working correctly because that's what it does. It is evolving towards things that work in evolution.
Oh,
Like it is the
it
basis.
says in Google definition, it says that evolution is the process by which different kinds of living organisms are thought to have developed and diversified from earlier forms during the history of Earth.
Yeah. So like it doesn't say there's even a direction, like forward or backward. It's just like
Yeah.
randomness, and it happened to end up that way.
No, I guess, yeah. So then, yeah, evolution would just be like it's just adapting. Basically, I feel like evolution is just adapting.
But like if you think of evolution as like a system that is guiding everything, like in the way that we're saying it works in every case.
Yeah.
it almost becomes like a religion. Like, should you be loyal to evolution? Because like humanity is going to go extinct, but evolution will never go extinct because it's just the best. It'll always happen.
No, wait. Is um, so should evolution? I think evolution should just be. Then evolution would just be like nature.
Yeah, I think it is. I think basically that's what Darwin said.
Cool.
Yes. But yeah, like it is just nature. So like basically you're loyal to nature, like the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Like that's what I have faith in above humanity or above life. Like people might think that they like love life, like forms of life in general. But like even those forms of life are just a manifestation of evolution. But at that point, I love atoms in the universe.
Yeah.
Because everything is contained in it. Is basically where that goes to.
I'm gonna call this video "Proving Evolution."
Yeah, basically, we just went through all the steps and.
You're press recording, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on.
By the way, this is our 3rd episode.
How are you doing, Patrick? I'm just well.
Good, I'm doing.
Okay, so let's try to disprove evolution so that we know.
Okay, that's good. All right, let's just do that. Well, where should we start?
Well, how do we know that things? I mean, this is kind of like it's kind of like cliche, but how do we know that things did exist an hour ago, right?
What?
How do we know that we didn't just be materialized with our memories of things and with like all these textbooks of history? We don't know that history actually happened. We just know that we have a lot of records of it. The records could have been produced just now, though, in this instant, and we would still be thinking we're here talking and like normal. So if that's true, evolution would kind of just be like almost just like the obvious, basically like, oh, we're just going to apply something that makes sense, even though we haven't had any actual data of it occurring. Because if we don't know, I mean, that's kind of stupid because
Actually, I think evolution. Like, I don't actually think evolution actually can be proved. It can't be. I don't think it can. Oh no, maybe it can. Maybe it can because like, there's no data with it. There's not like, straight proof data, like you said. There's no data.
The only way you can prove it is logically. Like
yeah, I know. But the thing is, if you prove it logically, there's always that little tiny percent of chance that you're not right.
Yeah, because your logic is organic human logic, and like yeah, definitely. So like, we haven't proved evolution.
Damn it.
Nah, you know what? I'm done.
We just call it logically proving evolution.
Yeah. So like basically, evolution is when things that work continue to work, and things that exist now work, and they have existed into the past based on our history.
Yeah.
Logical proof.
No, what if the world was actually like you said, where like, the things like the words that we're speaking right now, they were just invented. Oh no, that won't make any sense.
No, it could be though. I mean, like
no, because like how would we know these words? They would have been like
the same way we know them right now. Like they're in our brain in a physical not construction, but like a couple of neurons that are close together, really, or fire together well. I don't know the exact like mechanism, but it's all.
No. The first time that we learned to speak, that would be when, like, we could say, words were invented then.
But like, if you learn to like, move your arm, right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty like basic biological thing. It's some nerve is sending a signal to your arm.
Yeah.
Works to move it, but like, it's not like it has to be created without like a physical basis. So language could just be. I think language could just be inserted just like that too, like basically. But I don't know because learning is like the firing of neurons and like the conditioning of your brain.
Yeah.
Just like injecting knowledge. So I wonder if that'll be a problem with like new technologies that are trying to connect. I guess you're not memorizing it though. That might be a problem with like what we were talking about with memorization and application of knowledge. Like you're not really memorizing it if you look it up on the internet. You're just kind of using it. You're kind of calling it to your brain for like a minute, and then you might remember it somewhere, but like you kind of forgot it, you know?
All right, Harry, no, wait. Harry, how are you truly doing? I haven't asked you this yet.
I'm doing awesome, Patrick. Just swell. Been working on grocery app. Check that out when it's done.
All right, send it to me.
Yes. No, everybody. It'll be on our podcast. We'll do a little demo. Yeah.
Oh, Harry.
Yeah.
Well, we could just like, yeah, that'd be okay. That'd be cool.
Studying for the SAT, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's that going?
It's being
yeah, it is what it is.
So boring though. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know, it's all for a good cause.
Yeah. You just got to get used to boring stuff. That's your show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to have to take that.
You want to go back to school?
Huh?
You want to go back to school?
No, I never want to go back to school. Like, I hope everything is digital from now on. It's just I'm in the ball going into school and like.
Yeah. I actually hated this one. I hated like COVID-19 and all that. I mean, I'm sure everybody does, but
Nah, I'm actually a fan.
No, Harry, I'm an air conditioner. I'm just saying, like, I feel like COVID-19 has like absolutely ruined everybody's social lives. Like, seriously, like, if you were at school, no, like, we got off school at like what, March, right? Like, at that time, like, you know, we were doing our regular thing, but then like COVID-19 sort of makes us, they sort of like COVID-19 like changes us to make us like not like socializing anymore. Like,
yeah, I mean, we can socialize just as easily, but like it's just weird.
We just don't want to do it.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Like, why you have to see a person, like in person.
Oh, that's a good question.
Definitely comes down to reproduction. Let's be honest.
I mean, like, no, like before COVID-19, like we had to go to school, and then now there's no requirement anymore. So then we're sort of not motivated to go back to school anymore. And like, I think we also do miss, like, subconsciously, like, we miss our friends and we miss like.
Yeah. I want to see you, Patrick. That's it.
Yeah, I want to see you too, Harry.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely kind of sucks, but like, we also just have so much time, and like, I feel like most of the time we spend socializing is probably wasted. You know, we're not actually anywhere. We're just messing around.
Yeah.
Time in school.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, if you're bored, I guess you'd want to be socializing. But
yeah, I know. Yeah, it has to be a trade-off. I think COVID-19 has definitely been a trade-off.
People are just trying to find things to do, which is what we'll be doing, I think, once we have universal basic income, hopefully. Maybe, like, this is a little preview. We just have to find things to keep us busy because we don't have an actual job, me and you, at least, for, like, school. I mean, you're studying and stuff, but, like,
yeah.
We're just trying to find stuff to entertain us.
Yeah. But, you know. How about what do you think about the police nowadays, huh?
I think they should be automated.
What?
Give all the budget to Elon Musk.
I think we should too.
I mean, like, it's just kind of, you're going to leave it to a human to make these decisions for real. That's what you guys are using right now. Of course they're going to make mistakes. They've got like 30 years of things that you don't know about. Like, in the brain, like
Yeah.
I just feel like it'd be easier to make sure they do the right things just with like a little code. What about you?
Because I just hate how like protesters like they say what defund the police. And I totally like I don't understand that at all. Like yes, there's like definitely a lot of cases, a lot more than there should be of cases where white and not well maybe white but both like
Either way, oppression. Like yeah.
police officers, yeah, just police officers killing or just mutilating African Americans in the United States. Like there's more than there should be,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I feel like defund the police.
most of the police are like good.
I feel like conservatives probably somehow snuck that in to all of this sentiment so that like
No, most of the protesters aren't. They aren't.
no, that's what I'm saying. I think they snuck it in there because now everybody's like, wait a second, you guys wait a second.
Yeah, yes.
We're not on this anymore.
No, but then like conservatives like Donald Trump, like they don't want.
No, yeah. I think it just makes them it's just trying to make them look extreme, like
yeah.
But I'm down to defund the government. Just not only the police.
Me too.
Just have the system evolve, but you can't just take out just the police and still have all of the other forms of government oppression and then expect it to work. Also, how are you going to collect taxes?
I don't think there's that much government oppression.
I mean, like, you can't. Okay, I'm going to go to the very classic argument, just because it's the easiest path of least resistance for making this argument. If you own a piece of land, you can't grow marijuana on it. You can't grow poppy seeds on it either.
In some states you can.
Well, yeah, in some states. But, like, the point is, if it's your property,
you should be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and, like, the other thing is, I think taxes in general are, like, pretty obviously majority/mob rule. It's just whether you're okay with it or not. Like, the only way to have roads and a military is to forcibly take money from those people who don't want to have those things, just because you voted. So, like, if 3 people were together and 2 of them wanted to buy pizza but didn't have enough money without the third person, do the 2 people have the right to take the third person's money to buy their pizza? Probably not, in my opinion, but like that's what government is, pretty much. Democracy, at least.
Yeah. That's why we should turn to socialism.
Yeah, pretty much. I think once we have enough wealth, like we probably will get more and more communist, like literally, or maybe socialist. I'm not.
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
I just think
people are getting more wealthy. Are the poor getting
more abundance? I mean, I guess there's never more abundance. There's just a certain amount of elements, and you can't, or a certain amount of matter and energy, and you can't create or destroy it. Yeah, but like the better it's organized to serve people, like that.
Then obviously that's socialism. That's clearly socialism.
Well, yeah, but I think it takes capitalism to create. Like, I think capitalism is probably the best way to be creating value. Like, if I were a government, I probably wouldn't go socialist right now, just because people have so much less incentive to work when not only is it being taken from them, but there's even just the appearance of that.
No, but then again, I don't know. If you have socialism, yes, there are going to be people who don't have that motivation anymore, and then there are no rich people. So then basically people are all the same. And then say if you have capitalism, now there are rich people, but then let's just say half the people are not half, but like some of the people are not poor.
Yeah.
They don't even have the chance to work hard.
And make it, yeah. But I don't think they do socialism either, because I think just if you agree with what we were talking about as far as businesses evolving, as soon as you forcefully have a government, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe that's part of the evolution, but I think once you have a government forcefully taking money and redistributing it, you can't guarantee that the market is working anymore and that the businesses are evolving properly. It's like if you started dumping a bunch of acid on an environment, or just like started randomly taking certain trees and clipping them in the rainforest, you're going to mess with the ecology a lot. And yeah, it's
No,
probably
but if you were clipping branches off trees in a rainforest, in socialism, you would be replanting those branches and you would get more trees.
you would get more trees and everything else would die in the rainforest because there would be too much covering. And then all the trees would die because they couldn't feed on fertile soil because there's nothing down there. Like I'm just saying.
What?
So that was maybe not ecology, proper ecology, but I'm just saying like the systems do work towards an optimized result all the time. Not optimized, but just the one that works and continues to happen.
Evolution.
Yeah, evolution. So like if you believe in evolution within the market, I don't know that you can also go say that you want centralized planning of wealth, like basically redistributing it through the government.
No, but okay, look. I don't even know. I was gonna say that in um in human society, businesses they're evolving. They're like in capitalism they would evolve. Wait, are you saying that in socialism businesses wouldn't evolve at all? Everybody's basically equal.
No, because like I think evolution overtakes the political system and the economic system. I just think that it would slow it down.
Oh yeah.
I just it's just not the move. Like I think that's why countries that have gone socialist, not gone socialist, I know it's not binary, but I think generally they do end up producing less wealth. And then like sometimes they fail, and then the people there change their government, and no more socialism. Evolution. But like if we went socialist, I don't necessarily think evolution would stop. I just think that evolution would drive out the socialism. But it also depends at what point we go to that and transition, because if you have enough wealth, the pressures that like the evolutionary pressures that would drive out the socialism,
yeah.
in the case of like the Soviet Union or Venezuela are like starving people, you wouldn't have those pressures. So maybe it wouldn't get driven out and the people would be more happy and let it continue until they no longer had that wealth. So I think not only would the evolution continue, but it also is very dependent on how much wealth there is to begin with when you go start redistributing it, because there's.
Oh, okay. If you were are you saying that in a capitalist society, right? The wealthy, I mean, no, like the poor, they wouldn't be able to drive out the wealthy.
No, I mean, like they did that in Russia. Right?
No, yeah.
So, but I'm just saying that they're like, we don't know the math. I mean, if you made a neural network to decide when a country is going to have a revolution or implement a new welfare program, you would find a bunch of factors.
We could do that.
No, I know. I'm sure there are ones out there. But like I'm just saying, those are the real math that we would look at. And I mean, that's not true. Like if you think it's a simulation, there's the laws of physics are the math that are driving the universe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, things happen because of their physical state and the way they're changing, Maybe there's a God interfering with it, but like, anyway, if you built your neural network and found all those factors, it's not necessarily the wealth of the people that decides whether there'll be a revolution, and their power. Like their power might be another thing, because wealth and power aren't necessarily equal. Like in a democracy,
if everybody was in socialism, you have the same amount of money. So basically, if everybody had the same amount of money, there wouldn't be a rich, a poor, and there would only be like an objective, just flatness. Just everybody had the same amount of money, right?
Well, only in terms of wealth, but yeah.
There wouldn't be like any how would socialism evolution drive out socialism?
Well, I think first of all, people have
because there would be no like rebellions and like that because everybody had to just sing my money.
I don't know about you, but I would rebel. But like I think
No, what if you were poor and then you went to a socialist government?
it might work. It might be better for a couple of years, and maybe it's better forever. Maybe I'm just ultra capitalist, and also it's not capitalism and communism. Like I think it's really the amount that you're regulating the market that works without any interference. Like just consumers and businesses and the market.
No, I also feel like it's evolution because it just depends on like what's good with your race or ethnicity. It's just good with that.
It's all like your personal. Yeah, exactly. That's
yeah.
Tons of those little factors.
I feel like that's it. Because Puritans went from England because they wanted more freedom.
Yeah, that's exactly.
They were like, oh, we want freedom. Okay, so we're just gonna be America with.
Yeah, and that's why America got a big population, religious freedom, kind of, lots of good stuff. And Britain, well, Britain's cool. For our British people out there, I can save something. I could have said something bad, but I didn't.
What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just kidding. I was
same here.
like Britain's a trash empire and like I hate the Brits. Like classic Americans hating the Brits, even though it's not really a thing.
That's the thing I hate. That's the thing I hate about just general racism. I hate how they say like white people, just white supremacists. They always say like "get out of my country" or something like that. It's like it wasn't even your country in the beginning.
No, I mean you conquered it maybe, but like not even. You conquered it with the help of a lot of Africans, a lot of some. I mean, lots of people like.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think that's the worst part about it.
But I mean, I think that might be people that say get out of our country. The other problem is I think they might be nationalists and like they think it's their country and like.
No, that's exactly what it is.
But then
it's not exactly what it is.
But then they get labeled as white supremacists sometimes, even if they're not necessarily racist. They're just super nationalist, even though it's usually directed at another race. So I guess it's still racist,
Yeah.
But yeah, like they look like idiots for sure.
Okay, I think that's it for one episode.
Yeah.
That's it for episodes. My name is Patrick Dye. My wonderful co-host, Harry Fazan. Bye.